I mean, I think that what I continued to do, even when the world was shut down, was find things within my house to stay active. So, whether it was like running stairs with a weight vest, or I had like a couple of dumbbells in my house. And so just taking those out to the sidewalk to stay fit. I wanted to be able to maintain my cardiovascular endurance and strength during COVID so that I could transition back into athletics after that and have not lost a whole lot. And that's thankfully how it worked for me. And then also, I was employed, so I stayed busy continuing to work through the pandemic. Yeah, so the big thing for me was my CrossFit gym. We transitioned to online. So every workout was designed for you to be able to do in the comfort of your own home. So whether it was like doing burpees in the house, push ups, air squats, some people were putting books in backpacks to add weight to them so that you could do weighted air squats. Like I said, I had a weight vest, so I did a ton of weight vest workouts during that time as well. Of course, I did lose some strength, but thank heavens for muscle memory. If you've already built it up to a certain extent, then it's not too hard to bring that back into things. And I mean, I competed at the national championship in powerlifting in September of 2020. So I was able to make a relatively quick pivot once the gyms opened back up again to be able to train for that. Yeah, I love that question. I used to think that like 30s and 40s were old, but not anymore because some of the most badass athletes that I am surrounded by on a daily basis are either my age or older than me. Case in point, the owner of our CrossFit gym is 36 as well. He just competed at the CrossFit Games and not in the Masters division, so not in the age specific. He competed on a team, and I am surrounded by, women that have had children that are in their mid 40s that are qualifying for the CrossFit Games, that are, elite Olympic weightlifters and elite power lifters. So I just think personally that age is just a number, and that someone just manipulating themselves into thinking that they're old and washed up is a facade, and they're doing themselves a disservice to actually think that way. I mean, studies have even shown that like the metabolism doesn't even slow down until you're 60. The reason why people's metabolism slow down is because their activity level drops. So I mean, if we just continue to stay motivated, prioritize nutrition, prioritize sleep, try to mitigate stress and continue to train, it's that discipline that's going to get us to achieve our goals when we're in our 30s and 40s, and we can still achieve those goals. Yeah, so I mean, growing up, I was a ballerina and a figure skater. So that's kind of what built the baseline, I think, especially for lower body strength. And then from there, I ran track and I played basketball. And then I started lifting weights and actually running half marathon trail runs. So I was lifting weights in the gym, running half marathons, and then I found CrossFit. And it was this perfect blend of both strength training as well as cardiovascular endurance. And I've been doing that for the last 7 years. And then, I decided to also dabble in powerlifting. Well, I say dabble, but I've taken it pretty far at this point. So I've been doing that for the last 3 years, and that most of my foundation was in CrossFit. Yeah, so I train 5 days a week. And then I have a 6 day that's active recovery and one full rest day. During the week, like I said, I'm training for the world championship right now in powerlifting. And so my focus is predominantly powerlifting. And so, one day I have deadlifts with accessories, another day I've got bench press with bench accessories, and then same with squat and squat accessories. And then a few days in the week, I am also continuing to do CrossFit. My powerlifting coach has wanted me to continue to do CrossFit as well, as it kind of helps everything from a neurological perspective kind of stay intact as well. So they're kind of complementing each other at this point, but powerlifting is the focus. And so I work directly with my powerlifting coach, specifically on that. And then I also do a slow nutritional cut for weigh-ins for powerlifting as well. So I have a nutrition coach to go through that cut as well, where I am maximizing my strength during my training cycle and also doing a slow cut, so that I'm not losing any muscle during the cut. Yeah, I think that tracking your macros is the absolute best method to go. The beauty with tracking your macros is that you can eat essentially anything as long as it fits within your macros. The most important macronutrient is protein. And so I make sure that I am eating more than my body weight in grams of protein every single day, especially in a cut. It's critical that you emphasize protein. And then from there, some people's bodies respond better to higher fats, others higher in carbohydrates. The goal would be for your body to be able to more efficiently burn fats. But, I have a blend of carbohydrates, protein, and fats, and I can create whatever meal I want as long as it is staying within my macros. My macros right now are designed for a slow cut, but then once I get done with my powerlifting meet, then I go into kind of what they call like a refeed phase, probably similar to what a bodybuilder would do. And then I just continue to track my macros from a maintenance level throughout the rest of the year, just mainly because in CrossFit, you need to be able to eat as much food as possible. So I feel like maintenance is better than ever being in a type of deficit. I typically only do that when I'm cutting for a powerlifting meet. Yeah, I love food. So I go hard, like my meal after a powerlifting meet, again because I actually have to cut for that, is usually like a big juicy cheeseburger and fries. And then I love crumble cookies. They slap so hard. If you've never had them, I highly recommend it. But yeah, so I normally get some crumble cookies and some cheeseburgers, and I definitely try to enjoy myself for a couple days. The nice thing is that with powerlifting, because it's strength focused, after weigh-ins, I get to go ham on food in general in prep for the next day to lift. And so my carbohydrates for that day are like 3 times the amount that they typically are in any other given day. So I usually get to go ham at that point, like before competition, which is nice for me in powerlifting. So I feel like I've gotten really good at managing things, because my career has been really crazy too. Thankfully, right now it's like slowed down a little bit, but I mean, for many years, it was just living and breathing by my calendar. And so that's what I do now. Everything is timed from, the time that I eat, and I work my training in around work as well. And so I've got all of these priorities, but really, I mean, as long as you are regimented and disciplined with your time, then you can definitely achieve it all. I feel like I'm just kind of running around all over the place throughout the day, but it makes the week go by better. And I know that I am making not only a contribution to society in my career, but also just achieving really big goals. And so every day, like my why is why I wake up and I'm cool with just the wild schedule. I said I dabble in powerlifting, but probably the biggest thing has been in powerlifting. I've been able to take it to the international elite level. I competed at the World Championship in 2021, and I took first place in my weight class. So it's probably the biggest achievement that I've made. I also have 8 state records, and I'm training currently right now for the drug tested IPL World Championship, which is in October. I'm hoping to perform well there too, and make another attempt at a world record at for bench press in my weight class. So I would say accolade wise that I've been able to take powerlifting at this point the furthest, and I am probably the most proud of my accomplishments there. It's a two-part answer. I have goals that I want to go far in CrossFit as well. I'm 36 now, so I am in a different division, an age different division in CrossFit. And so my goals there are predominantly in my 40s. Realistically, I think that I could take it a little bit further than I have at this point once I get into my 40s. But in powerlifting, I think that there are a lot of things that I can do in the sport of powerlifting, and my goal would be to be a sponsored athlete, and I think that's most realistic in powerlifting. So yeah, I just want to continue to pursue and achieve those goals, especially in the next like 4 years, as well as continue to compete in CrossFit. I do train CrossFit probably 85% of the year, and then I pivot into full-time powerlifting training as I'm prepping for meets. But I definitely want to, break a world record in powerlifting, bench press specifically, break some more state records, hopefully take a national record, and then hopefully at some point become sponsored. So that's a great question. Somebody that I really like specifically in CrossFit would be Tia Claire Toomey. She just had a baby, and she trained all throughout her pregnancy. She definitely set the bar very high and proved to women that you can continue to train and bounce back. And there are so many CrossFit athletes that have done exactly the same thing, where they have, went through a pregnancy, and a year later or less than a year later, they're back on the CrossFit Games floor. And so I just think that, again, it kind of goes back to discipline and establishing your why. And I admire people that have that grit mentality. David Goggins is somebody that I really look up to as well. His book Can't Hurt Me was so inspirational. I like people that have no excuses, and you just keep pushing through, because people are full of excuses. We know this. And again, you're just doing yourself a disservice. You can achieve whatever goal you want. It's genuinely how hard and how long you are willing to work to achieve that goal. Such a good question. And I know that so many people talk about this, but in reality, like for a woman to get muscular, it's going to take years of training. And not only that, but you've got to be in the gym for a long time, not just like lifting, your 10-pound dumbbells or whatever. I mean, it takes years to actually pack on muscle. And most women's bodies are not designed, like they're not a mesomorph, or they're actually going to develop a lot of muscle. That is a specific skeletal muscle body type, and a lot of women don't have that. So I just think the biggest thing that you have to remember is that everybody goes into the gym, and everyone has started somewhere. So they've all started from right where you are. If you feel intimidated by stepping into a gym, know that no one is looking at you. Nobody is watching you in the gym. Oh my gosh, that girl doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know how to adjust a piece of equipment. If you don't know how to do it, just walk up to the front desk and ask. I ask people all the time if I don't know how to use a piece of equipment. And I think that you should let that go and just remember that you are doing it for yourself. establish your why before you ever set any fitness or nutrition goals, why you're doing it, and let that be your driver every single day. And if you stay persistent with it, and if you realize that athletes and people who are in the gym 6 days a week, they are not more motivated than you are. Motivation is 1000% irrelevant. I am motivated maybe 1 day a week. I am disciplined every single day of the week. So if you realize and understand that discipline is going to be your driver, and to just not create excuses for yourself, go in and just remember, start out small, couple days a week. That is a win, and go up from there. People dive in like head first, and then they get burnt out too quickly. And that's why I think a lot of people derail. So just start out small and then work your way up from there. But don't let anybody be the reason, or don't be afraid to go into a gym, or if somebody looks at you a certain type of way, like whatever, you keep doing you and pursuing your goals. Yes. I actually had somebody recently on social media, like say that I was transgendered, just to probably get a rise out of me from a troll. To me, those things don't bother me. I've gotten the emojis with like, somebody pretending like they're throwing up. But at the end of the day, and I'm sorry if I'm going to offend any men, but I'm not interested in dating a simp in the first place. So if you have an issue with my masculine, feminine energy, then it wouldn't be a fit anyway. I feel like, at the end of the day, like women should be empowered to be able to take their strength to the levels that they have. And thankfully, I personally surround myself with a lot of very strong women, and also very strong men that do not feel threatened, because I think that that's ultimately what it is. It's a threat, or insecurity based is the reason why they make negative comments. But it doesn't bother me, because I love the fact that I'm strong, and I'm super proud of it. And so, yeah, I don't let it affect me.